live in Vegas. Like, now the reality is coming very close to life.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we do have a board to get to. And Tim, no time better than the present to start walking people through what is happening in the world of jiu-jitsu, specifically within the world of the PGF. First, let's start off with this. Yes, we do know who the teams are. And I think it's important that we kind of go over who, what, where, when, and why. So what I'm going to do here, Tim, is I'm actually going to take us to another board. And that board is going to allow us to look at some of these teams. So can you walk us through some of the emerging team members that we are seeing here?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me pull this up a little bigger because I'm blind. Let's see. I have a list here. I'm gonna go off the list. Looks like we got, is that Team Drysdale on the left there? Oh, I
So,
see how this is. I see how it's lined
yes.
up. It's a row. Okay. So it looks like we got Team Hanato Canuto up on the top, right? Top row. And Canuto has a pretty interesting team here. We'll kind of run through the players. We got Matt Mash, Jordan Worth, Chris Olivo, Rafael Ferreira, and Brady Hilton. And I think it's a good team. Pretty strong composition. Like it's not too heavy one way or the other. There's some young guys, there's some vets, there's some finishers, there's some guys that can force an opponent to throw up a zero. So I think that's a pretty decent team. And he did, if you look at Canuto, like what he paid outside of Ferreira, which I think he went like 6,400 on, the rest of the guys, he really didn't pay that much money. He got them all for, $1,500, $2,000, somewhere around there.
So I'm going to see. Oh, good. I'm glad that this is the 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Natalie
I
Bauer
see
says, "Good
that.
morning. Checking in to see what y'all are going to say about my boy JJ." Mostly
Uh,
positive, but can I say this, Natalie? Your son is obsessed with challenging me to a hot dog eating contest. Now, I don't know where this comes from. I know that he is very competitive. I have spies at JJ Pages, so I know things happen all the time. I know he is a very, very good jiu-jitsu grappler, but very competitive. So I think even me saying, "What are you doing? That looks like a lot of food," and me telling him, "Listen, as an actual fat person, you can't tell me what too much food looks like or something to that effect." And he was like, "We're going to have an eating competition and we're going to go day of weigh-ins." And I was like, "Dude, you're not going to weigh in and then yak the next day at competition." Like, I can't come back on the show and be like, "Well, JJ Bowers now has negative points because of an
Yeah, I would just say this. I would say when you're looking at these teams, they are pretty well balanced, but if you look at them in the perspective of which teams really have the potential to have a strong top three, we're probably looking at Drysdale and Canuto. They both, especially Drysdale's team, there's a decent chance that three of those guys are able to jump out. Canuto's kind of in the same boat. Not that the other teams can't. For sure they can, but I think if you had to rank it up. You had to say, what do you think are the stronger teams? And I'm going Drysdale Canuto. We'll see. It's hard to predict. These things are hard to predict, and the season being stretched out definitely is going to have some play.
Agreed. And again, there's a very interesting dynamic because if you are looking at how all of these teams shake out, I am intrigued to see who the silent gatekeepers are going to be. Because, like, if those people could stop you from getting points, it could be a very powerful tool, I think, coming into this. So we'll come back and we'll assess that a little bit later. But as we revisit the board here, we're almost just dropping in to see what the next board topic is. And then very quickly walking away from it. But this, my friends, this is big, Tim. We're now going to go through everybody's fashion sense. Now,
Okay.
I hear you guys. I hear you saying, "Wow, Raf, are you guys going to critique the fashion?" And to which I say, absolutely we are. Because whether you think you were making a statement or not, you were. And Tim and I had these thoughts, and we didn't want to be rude to the children, but we did confer, and we did get some input from Kevin, who unfortunately came down with some kind of sickness today. I'm not sure what it is. The doctor didn't send me the note, but I'm told on good assurances he okay. But what I can tell you is every one of us put in a little bit of knowledge, years of looking at other people being here to give you this breakdown, this analysis. So, Tim, what's going to happen now is I'm going to bring on, now that we've seen the teams, one by one fashion. And I would love for you to give me your first initial thoughts for each person that gets brought onto the screen. We'll start off with the most obvious, the commish himself, Brandon McCatherine. What is he saying with his fashion right here?
He's saying a lot. He's not saying less is more. Might I love BMAC, but we might be going more is less here. And hear me out. He's got the
Told me, like, dude, he expects to be the number one draft pick. So he believed it. He showed up like one of the people you would see on TV. And the shininess was important. It was noted. So I have to say there were some high marks for Jet Thompson. The only thing I would say is the glasses on the shirt. Don't know where I fall on that, Tim, because I feel like it's bringing more attention that you didn't wear a tie. Or, and I hate to ruin this for him, does not count as a tie.
Maybe he thought it was a tie. Yeah.
I don't want to, make accusations here like Chael Sonnen, a carrot, and a bus. But I am saying I have questions on if he thought that counted as a tie. Like maybe in some regions there's like a bolo tie and he thought that was the Oklahoma version of a bolo tie. I don't know. But other than that, mostly high marks for Jet Thompson. Here's another one that I wanted to kind of bring up here. Andy Varela. Where did we fall in Andy Varela's fashion?
I like Andy Varela's fashion. I think this is a good look. This is probably something I myself, as a stylish older gentleman, such as, Andy's not older yet, but this is something that I definitely would wear. It's very fitted, showing off the guns, sleek. I think that's a good look. Real quick on Jet, he should have worn an ascot. If he would have had an ascot instead of the sunglasses, he would have nailed it. But I like Varela's look there. I think so far Varela's got the top look. Ascot, and then you think that picture's taken at the Playboy Mansion.
I want to bring this up for Andy Varela. Andy Varela looks like he's about to go golf with DJ Khaled's crew. And
another one
indeed. What's interesting about Andy is I saw him looking there and I said, dude, you look like you're about to go golf. And he didn't get hurt. He just goes like, okay, but maybe I am. And I thought, oh, he definitely feels a little bit about that. The shoes were a higher mark. I thought he came in okay for coach's standards. I actually might have expected a little bit more. And I couldn't tell if he was just scared by Chris Olivo. And I thought he figured if he's going to go all the way out there, maybe he should be a little more reserved, given that. Let's move on over to Matt Mash. Now, Matt Mash, seen here looking very confused after being told he looks like a Bad Bunny stunt double. To me, I was looking at this, and I was just in the middle of trying to figure it out. Now, we'll see some examples of this a little bit later.
Or some kind of skate shop or something you go into, and you're going to...
I don't remember if I had this joke a little bit earlier, but I said he killed at Lilith Fair. So I'm not sure.
Oh, wow. I like it.
If that was the joke I settled on, but it's the joke I'm going with. Let's move on to our next individual. So this is Chris Olivo, who looks like a bisexual bounty hunter. I don't understand what the assignment here is, but there's a lot going on. So, Tim, maybe just explain what you saw in person and what was standing out to you there.
Chris Olivo is channeling, and I don't know if he's trying to, but he's channeling the fashion vibe of 2009 raging alcoholic crazy man Russell Brand. This is
Mhm.
like crazy Russell Brand, right? This is the vibe that I'm getting from the outfit. I think it's dope. I do think that Chris probably spent more on the clothes than what he got in the draft.
Oh no.
Like this, I mean, this is name brand stuff, man. He's not wearing
Yeah.
Target shit. Like he's wearing Gucci and Dolce Gabbana, unless he's got a hookup that I don't know about. This guy dropped some bread on this, man. He
So
came in.
Tim, here's where I got confused. There were multiple times when I looked at him and I thought he seems like the villain in Snow Dogs. Like he's just short of pointing at a bunch of dogs and being like, "Get them." So I don't know. I feel like he should be on a snowmobile somewhere. There's a lot to kind of process in this. But he
Yeah.
did make the biggest statement of all the individuals there. And one person, a JoJo, if you would, says he's goated. Now, I will
Mm.
say he definitely was perhaps. We can't claim this for sure. Still have a couple more to go through. He might have been the best dressed,
Yeah.
but that doesn't take away from the villainy of him or the fact that Cruella DeVille looked at his coat and said, "Damn that bitch." So there is that. Let's move down. This was Robert Blackledge's outfit and drip. And here you can see him pointing out the number of colored shirts that he owns. Now, I'm interested in kind of demonstrating here. It's classic. It's a little bit on the like, you can see a little of the chest hair. But I was wondering if the collar buttons. He had a solo shot by himself that I thought was just great. But this is the most bro on vacation sort of photo you've ever seen. And I thought it completed the package. But if you're looking just at, I mean, by himself, it's very tactical. Like this dude probably has a concealed carry on him just based on the way he's dressed. He also probably hangs out very discreetly on a flight, if you know what I'm saying, in the background, making sure everything is going to go according to plan. Like, this is definitely Melissa McCarthy coming up to him and saying, "Hey, are you an agent?" And him going, "No." Like, look at this man. That is what he looks like here. Any further thoughts on what he brought to that fashion day?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, and he's definitely putting off a vibe, like not to be trifled with. And now he has Varela in the background. They're giving off a very Eastern European feel too. Like I can't tell if it's Russian, Asian influence. I'm not quite gonna say Tate Brothers, but almost like a parody or a send up of it. But I can appreciate the outfits. I think they look good. He is very tactical. It looks like he might have a paracord bracelet on his left arm, or is that a tattoo? I can't exactly tell, but he definitely has an interesting belt. Good look. I would mess with him. Like I would go find another victim.
So we move on. Thank you for that. To Landon, here seen with the fit that can only be described as he went to the McLovin section of the store. This is interesting because you get the sense he might start juggling. For Landon, it's the youthful innocence in the face that I think is slightly confusing here. But the belt is a good accessory. I cannot lie about that. Like, it has the intercontinental feel here, Tim, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But what make you of this apparel?
Um, he has the look of a man who's never been hurt by a woman before. Just the peace sign with the intercontinental belt. It's not happening, man. There's too much going on. The bright smile, the bright face, the ill-fitted collar once again. Listen, looks like you might have hung the shirt up in the bathroom to get the wrinkles out. Sometimes you got to put a hot iron on that. Like sometimes you got to bite the bullet, plug it in, put the iron on it, press it out. But respect for showing up with the belt and carrying that shtick the whole way through. Ballsy move. Way to put a target on your back, right? And I mean, look, if he loses, does his title now transfer to the other guy? I mean, is he the what do they call it? The lineal belt holder? Is that what's going to happen? I would say so.
I mean, I'm very entertained by this. And I also want to give a shout out to Egg, who on another version of the broadcast says, hey, it sounds like somebody needs to get their smoke alarm fixed. And I will tell you this. If you know one thing about me, you know that I am a prepared individual. At our residence, our landlord has been very lazy. And my poor dog has been terrified of this thing. And when they said they were going to send somebody, they were like, oh, yeah, we'll send somebody. And I go, when? And that happens to be potentially now. So if I rush off this broadcast, that is why. We were debating on whether I would still keep the cameras rolling and yell at the person for not being here earlier, because I sent it on Sunday. And, we're in the middle of debating that. I do love this, though. And I'll bring this back up because it does beg a photo to go with it. And this comes from
like, hi, you see him at the hors d'oeuvre area where you're getting some snacks before you learn how to cult up. And he's kind of talking to you. I've been in the cult for 13 years, brother. I don't know. Maybe his nickname should be Tex. He's definitely an interesting character. And he kind of like, I recognize a troll when I see a troll. Like there's just troll aura that comes out of them, and fellow trolls go, oh, I ain't feeding that guy, right? I might support his trolling if it sounds interesting, but I'm definitely going to pay attention to him. You could look at the look on his face. He's mid-troll right now. Definite troll material.
I agree with you. We are now going to move on to our next photo here with Christos Papadelos. Here, in this particular photo, it looks like the police sketch version of Ricky Martin. So here's what I feel is the wrong choice. I feel like this is the guy who's going to make his way onto the dance floor of a wedding that you probably shouldn't let have the floor. This is a guy who's probably mid-sentence about to convince you as to why you need to invest in the best pyramid scheme you've ever heard. Like, this is the dude after high school who's like, hey, man, you want to come take a ride? Oh, it's just a meeting. It's all good. Yes, I know it's in the shape of a triangle, but like, any thoughts here, Tim?
Yeah, this is a guy that looks like he gets way too sensual on the dance floor when he's dancing. Oh, this is a guy that looks like, look, do all these guys work as waiters at the same restaurant? And is Mike John their manager? Is that why he's so burned out and tired? Because they all got the same damn outfit on so far, man. This is, I'm going to tell you what this is right here. And I really like Christos, so take this with a grain of salt. This is where Stephen Eakin fucked up and let him take the microphone. You can see that he's holding the mic. The hands are up, and he's like, I ain't even done. I ain't even got started yet. Don't clap yet, because I got plenty more to say. But I like Christos. I thought he looked pretty good. I mean, his clothes were fitted. They were put together well. He definitely came in with an agenda. So I got to give him credit for that. But the white shirt, unbuttoned, sleeves rolled up like all the other dudes. I mean,
you just blend in.
I don't know. Did like El Torito close down? They lay a bunch of people off, and
this is definitely him announcing, hey, my shift is over. Jake is going to go ahead and take care of you now for the rest of the evening. So I could see that happening there. Yeah. Nonetheless, we move on to Anthony Molina, who unfortunately I did not get a great shot of because he did not stand up for a long period of time. And then once he did stand up, he had a New Hope Kings shirt on him. But this to me actually reads as a dude that legitimately I was neither bothered nor impressed by. Like, I was just in the middle of being like, oh, he just looks that way. Okay, that's kind of cool. He just wore a black polo, decent slacks, a passing grade. Not like one that you're going to remember, but one that you weren't offended by. Oh, and let me just say this real quick. I know we brought this up a little bit earlier about the little smoke thing that you guys just heard right there, but I only take insults from those who hold the microphone the entire time. Those who give the microphone to a very eager young man who looks like this. I mean,
Man.
Can you really trust that man to make a joke in the comment section, Stephen Aiken? Just saying. Nonetheless, since there's not much to say here, we'll move on to Juan Martinez. And what's interesting about this to me is like the person who showed up to your wedding who your aunt was really mad didn't wear a sport coat. Like, just goes, look at him. He just wore a dress shirt. Like, that's the vibe I got off of him here about. I wanted to get to this. This is John Chandler seen looking a little betrayed that you promised you weren't going to get mad. And in this particular case, I wasn't necessarily sure where to fall on the shirt because to me, it looks like he vaguely for a second got sponsored by Dippin' Dots and that they put it on the shirt. But I'm still not sure where we fall on it. Where did you land?
Chandler's got a certain youthful, innocent look to him. I'm not saying that he is innocent, but he's kind of got the look, especially in this picture. It's captured pretty well. Pretty nice dude. Kind of hard to talk down to or talk bad about. The shirt's okay. It's a little bit in the same vibe as the Jordan Worth shirt. It's like they got to deal at Jack Surfboards or something like that. And they're rocking their Billabong dress wear right now. That's kind of where that feels. But, short sleeve button, at least it's a button up.
Fair.
Right. And then I would rather have him forego rolling up the sleeves and just have short sleeves.
Agreed. I think it's a more true to character thing here.
Yeah.
This is, of course, the esteemed Dom Lobo, who seen here not quite understanding how photography works, like legitimately confused that he was being sucked into his soul in a camera. Listen, I have to say this. Dom Lobo looks like the most promising PGA prospect there is right now. Like, just looking at this dude is going to win Masters this year. 100%. He is the next heir to Tiger Woods in this apparel, in my opinion.
Yeah. He looked like he wasn't sure what was going on the whole day. He had this look on his face. From the time he walked up to the rope, Steven and I were working the door downstairs initially, and he came up and he had the same look on his face. When they called him up for the draft, he had the same look on his face. When all the switcheroos went around, he had the same look on his face. When Alex Windling interviewed him, he's got the same look on his face. But I would say, I think this guy is going to come in hot. I think he's salty, and I think he's got something to prove.
I would agree. I'm going to move to this last one, and I want your honest take on this one, Tim.
Oh, this guy's a chump. This is a guy that wears a hat to cover the egghead dome. Sorry, egg, but listen, I know you're egghead, but I have the real egghead. I'm almost rivaled TJ DeSantis, but not quite. He's got me beat. And then the gold chain, it's like, listen, I was in a production, a local play for training day. I was going to play Denzel Washington's character. I still had the wardrobe left over. That's the look. I might show up with a leather jacket next time. Leather jacket, black turtleneck, gold chains. Woo. Hot, dude.
Tim,
hot.
It looks like you need 12 of those chains to make one chain. Like, the way I see this one little baby chain, because what happens is you look like Batista as a grandpa looking back at
Yeah.
his old footage. And what ends up happening to me is I'm like, well, I'm standing right next to this dude on the broadcast, so I don't know what to do. But you got like a little tiny chain, and I'm like having to squint my eyes. Like if I didn't have my glasses on, I wouldn't know you had a chain on. But instead, I had to do this, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Son, come here. Let me see if that's a chain. Is that a chain? Oh, it is a chain. Oh, I thought that was some floss.
Yeah.
I was going to use that real quick. Nonetheless, I'm not sure where I fall on us having chains. And we discussed this very openly. And you were so excited to bring a chain. And then when you did, I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know what we're going to do about this.
I got a thicker one on layaway at Don Roberto Jewelers. It's a Cuban. It's very, very tasteful. It's going to look really nice. The other thing is, I looked at a picture of myself and I told my wife, I look like a reformed gang member who's now a youth pastor, but
sure.
trying to still kind of like Victory Outreach style, like still reaching into the hood.
You're definitely a at-risk counselor here. I do see that for you. Let me go ahead.
The drug counselor who uses. Sorry.
Let me go back to the board here. We're going to rapid fire through some of these because we do still have some work to do. But yes, we're going to now go to money. Tim, do you have on your possession who got the most money off of this?
Yeah, he put out this many points. And I think we're going to start seeing that stat kind of drive through the future as we kind of move through these drafts. So
would agree to that. Thank you very much for that analysis, Tim. We are now going to go to our next segment, which is we're going to get some advice for next year's draft. While it's still fresh in our head, normally this is something you do next year or maybe at the end of the season. The real issue you fall into is we're going to have so much more news by then. I figured, why don't we just get ahead of next year and start giving advice for the 2026 PGF draft. Your thoughts, Tim?
My advice, especially to the coaches, would be, you can't really set your sights on specific guys. The coaches that seem to do the best are the ones that kind of group the guys together. We need one guy from this group. We need one name from these few names, and we need one guy from these few names. And I think if you play it that way, you have a better chance at kind of filling the spots that you need on your team. The other thing is, the coaches really, really need to do a better job of tracking what they're spending and what the other teams are spending. That's low-hanging fruit. That's easy to do. On top of it, psychological warfare. And we saw Mika come out and kind of pull that off a little bit when he tried to make a play I think it was for Juan Martinez. I like that gamesmanship. I would say start seeding the room with rumors right out of the gate. Don't let anybody exactly know what you're going through, what you're going for, because then it's harder to bid you up. It's harder to thwart you with what you're doing. And I think it gives you an advantage. So put some thought into it, show up, multiple scenarios, and game those other dudes. Jiu-jitsu guys aren't that smart. They're pretty easy to game. If you come in with some manipulation tactics, I think you'll fare pretty well.
Thank you for that, Tim. Here's my advice. If you're going to make a speech, try making one speech, not three. You may have noticed Christos had a prepared statement that he wanted to say. And it wasn't bad. He actually got applause at one point. And that applause break should have been the end of it. It just seemed like it was a mishmash of ideas that somehow were part bid on me, part history of the sport, and I think it ended on a fact that he knew the rule set the best, and here's why. I feel like you're more effective if you just pick one of those. Now, it's not to say he didn't go for money. He did, but I think that's based more on talent and his group of people that he belongs to where he trains. So if you're just judging based on the rhetoric itself, I just thought, here's a dude who wanted to emulate CM Punk's pipe bomb, and instead it was just a bomb that exploded. And for me, I wanted to get behind it. Now, granted, we were on a little bit of a time crunch, but it's how do you use your time? How is your effective time being used? And I just thought in that particular case, just go down and look at the organization of the structure that he had. It's a little bit of A, sub point B, sub point Z, and maybe a point 2, maybe a point 3. Very unclear. So for you, young man, I would say maybe put it on a note card first. Like, figure out what logically goes next with each other. And then maybe it'll come together. But Christos, passion was there. Execution, so-so. Organization needs work. Big needs work. That's my advice for next year. So that if you guys come through, if you're not a talker, have your 1 to 2 sentence ready to go. If you are a talker, get the shit under control. Because after a certain amount of time, I might start booing next year. That's all. Let's move on to the next thing, which is this, Tim. We're going to go out and find a little bit of some information from Andy Varella's mathematician. We actually have an exclusive interview with him. We conducted this shortly after the events unfolded. So why don't we go to that footage to hear more from the man who didn't know how to math, but was an advisor nonetheless to Andy Varela.
We had for Team Varela, just some basic formulas, just to, make sure I understand what a right angle is, just making sure it has some bullet points. I actually had to write this down in the middle of the draft because Canuto was being a terrorist. He was just bidding against us, just for the sake of bidding on the spite. But then I was going to do some portraits of the athletes. I got JJ right there. We got Brady Branscombe. It's like super identical. We got Travis in his suit.
That's actually really good.
That actually looks pretty good, right?
Really
I got his ears right too. Yeah. But then we went to the actual team lineup. And,
I see a lot of crossouts here, sir.
Yeah, a lot of crossouts. There was a little bit of like an audible in between the draft. They were trying to do a refinance of JJ so that they could buy, I think, Lobo or something. But then B-Mac got involved. Everybody got involved. They were doing refinancing.
How do you feel about that?
I thought it was kind of fucked up because then people were spending money on high-level athletes that they wanted to have to secure, which is kind of weird. You spend a lot of money on a guy, then they refinance him. They kind of just changed the name of the game. So they went back on that, undid it. B-Mac made an executive decision and said, this is the final draft for everybody.
Where did it go wrong for you, sir?
Where did it go wrong for? Okay, so I got blamed for a mathematical error, but it was Canuto bidding more money than he had because Canuto wasn't keeping track of his money. So they were like, oh, who's fucking overbidding?
But you would have known that if you were paying attention to everybody, right?
No, but okay, so what happened was I accounted for Canuto's budget, but he went over it, and then so they were blaming me, but it all worked out. Canuto actually did get a really good team. So I think everybody's pretty happy with their teams right now. We're going to see. This is going to be some good matchups. Very excited to see how this goes down.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for your time.
Tim, what, if anything, did we learn from...
You going to eat those ribs?
What's happening here, Tim? This is a very smug Canuto. This is, he got something over at Andy Varela. He's feeling pretty proud of himself. So
I think this is him. This is him looking over at somebody's plate of food. Going,
We'd go to our third.
Oh man, Raquel just called him on the phone and told him he made a dumb move in the draft, and now he's feeling bad about it.
This is daydreaming Canuto to me. This is the one that like dreams of being a painter out in some foreign land and is like, if only I was so good at painting, but I'm not. So that to me is what screamed out here. We go to our next one. What's going on here, Tim?
Ooh, this is like him at the Academy Awards. He's hoping that his name, they just announced him as a nominee. And he's looking up, but they called up Varela. It's that moment where it just registered in his brain that they said Varela, not Canuto. And he's trying to like not be sad, but he's sad.
Clearly is sad here. Moving on.
Oh, this is sexy time. This is sexy Canuto. This is bad boy Canuto. Like relaxed, I'm just chilling. Wow.
I was not expecting that one on that. I think that was the one that basically has a secret he wants to tell you, but doesn't know if it's the right time.
Yeah, I could see that.
The next one is this.
This is Uber Eats Canuto, where he's like, he's looking at the phone because he's got to pick up the package. He's got to pick up the takeout. He's at the stand and he's putting his hand up because he don't want to wait in the line with the with the casuals because he's the Uber Eats guy. He wants to get the food and get out.
I'll be honest, this one to me read as kid in kindergarten who wants to use the restroom.
Okay. I could see it. I could see it.
What is going on here?
Him and Mika are texting each other right now in this photo. He just sent him a meme pic of Andy Varela.
Amazing. This is a guy who's just figured out there's a front side to the camera on his phone and is having a lot of fun with it. All right. This is also a concerning one. So they went from being friendly to now this.
Yeah, this is the first pick was the Varela meme, and that was funny. The second pick was the Canuto meme, not funny, hurtful.
Can I point this out? Like, Mika 100% knows Canuto's passcode to his bank now. Like, this is a dude who's not even trying to hide what's going on. Mika literally is looking at his pick, like, is literally looking at his bankroll and goes, yeah, I know what you have. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, you're right. He's totally peeping. He's getting his ATM PIN number right now.
What is happening here? Look at this. You know what I have to say? Most photogenic goes to Canuto.
Yeah. This is an ad for cauliflower ear renewal. You should have seen his ear before this. I know it looks bad now. It looks like a chewed up piece of bubble gum, but before this, it was even worse.
It looks like 12 students put their gum underneath a desk and that's what popped out.
Like they put one of those cochlear implants in his ear because he wasn't able to hear because of the cauliflower, and he just got the hearing. He just heard Andy's voice for the first time.
You know what this is? This is the dude in one of those medical commercials where they're talking about all the side effects, but he's still smiling like this.
Yeah, yes. He just got on the new drug.
We go to these last couple ones, which, by the way, this is one of my favorites.
This is I need to evacuate.
I honestly thought the first time I saw this one, this was him doing his best Bobby De Niro impression. Like, you sure about that?
Oh, yeah, I could see it. Yeah.
You sure about that? I heard things. So that is what I read on that one. Couple more here for Canuts. This one to me, though, this was magic. What's happening here, Tim?
This is him basically calling Andy Varela a wavon right now. He's just like, you're lazy. You won't do the math. You're overbidding. Wavon.
I want to say this. If these two gentlemen are living in Vegas in 50 years, this is the buddy cop thing I want to see. Like, this is the buddy Last Vegas movie where two old guys get together and bicker when they go to the soup station. Like, this is the movie I want to see. So I just want to make sure we get that book down in the future. What's happening here, though?
Ooh. This is Varela realizing that whatever he had schemed is not going to work. And Canuto is laughing over there like Resident Dr. Evil. Just laugh. That's like a evil, like, you're in pain and I'm not laugh. This is the kid you hate because he has all the cool stuff and you don't. I'm rich and you're poor.
This is Andy, like, telling him I have cancer. And Canuto going, so that means you can't finish the season? And the last one of Canuto here. What's happening in this one? I mean, it's similar to the first one, if you're being honest, though, Tim.
Yeah, this is Canuto looking like he smelled something foul.
This to me is Canuto being like, I think that pick was dumb, but whatever. If you say it's cool, it's cool. And Tim, that's going to conclude that. We have one section left to get through here on this board before we call it here. And this is gallery. Now, granted, in the past, whenever we do gallery, we bring up other people's comments. On this particular episode, we're actually going to do another set of photos. And I'd like to take you through first impressions, but I'll give you some prompts. if we go back to this photos, I want you to see these were just some around the way photos from the draft. And I
Okay.
want you
B Matt giving the thumbs up. I don't know if this is the thumbs up. Usually the defiant look, it's not that finger that you put up. He might be saying sit and spin. Like that, it could be that. It could be that. Or it could be good job. Or it could be like defiant hitchhiker. Like somebody's going to pick me up and give me a ride because I'm going to Tonka City.
I thought two things on this. The first is he looks like the kid with attitude in the 90s, like in an action film. And the second part that took me to this is him, Terminator 2 dying.
Yeah. This is Steven Dorff on a really bad day.
This is spectacular. Well, Tim, that has concluded our work here on the board. I will take us back to it, but let the people know where they can find us, sir, and what is coming up next for Inside the BJJ.
You could find us on the bullpen always. We will be back on Friday with another installment of this great program. And listen up, if you like this show, tell somebody that you like it. Subscribe, leave a comment, put the word out. You love jiu-jitsu, you love all this stuff. Then you could be bothered to spend a few minutes to promote what we're doing. We greatly appreciate it. You can catch me at Inside BJJ, all that jazz. If you're in Nashville, come see me at 10th Planet Nashville. If you're out in Stockton, go see my boys at 10th Planet Stockton. Raph, it's great to be back, man. I love you. Great show today. I love talking the draft, and I really love looking at pictures and just talking mad shit.
Likewise. And I love the fact that right now, Egg is in the comment section on one of the broadcasts, raising ire and saying, like, Canuto didn't actually go over his budget. I want to make it very clear he didn't. And it's like, yeah. Do you ever fear, Egg, that you will be replaced by AI? Because I feel like you're the closest of us to getting replaced by AI. Like in real time, when you teach AI to say, correct me when something's wrong, that's the Egg position. So I'm just saying, like, bro, let's not talk about Mexicans getting replaced with cheap labor. I think it's Egg first. Tim, I'm going to let you get on out of here, but thank you very much. Great work today, sir. And ladies and gents, that is going to do it for us here at the bullpen. Now, listen, I have a little thing that's been chirping. You've heard it a few times. I want to make this nice and quick so you don't hear it 20 times. First things first. Motherfucker. First things first. If you guys like the show, like, comment, and subscribe. Find us wherever you can. You can find me at patreon.com/grappling hour. We got interviews going up all the time. We got some local talent that I'm very excited to bring to your attention. So go check that out. You see my interviews 30 days before anybody else. And that is only if you are a Patreon member. It means a lot to me. You can also check us out at Inside BJJ for Tim and the Grappling Hour for me. Would love it if you go there, like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. That really does make a huge difference for us that way.